Hi everyone, I have something special for the introverts viewing today. We are responding to questions that I received from the National Conference of Women Bar Associations. And I received a question that is very commonly asked, is as an introverted personality, how do I develop a book of business? The simple answer is there's no one way, period. For as many different types of personalities that there are different paths to successful business development, rainmaking. So an example I would give is in a targeted networking environment where I can go up to anyone and talk to anybody about anything. That comes very naturally for me. I recognize that there are many, many people that does not come natural for. So and many people really do not enjoy networking. They don't often understand the purpose of it. It's not going to an event to, quote, get clients. That is the exact opposite of the objective of networking events. It is to help others, to learn, engage, cultivate, foster relationships that will have real-time tentacles that you can follow up with and have a second meeting or phone call or email exchanges. But for introverts in a targeted networking, and I say that very purposefully, in that for most people, this is not to knock chambers of commerce. I actually worked at a chamber of commerce, first job out of school. But you want to be in a room, the right room, where the, quote, right people are. And the right people is not the same for any two individual attorneys or practitioners. If your area of focus is family law or commercial litigation, the individuals who would retain you for your services are very, very different. And so my response partially refers back to an earlier response, and that is you must identify the profile of your ideal client, because in doing so, that's going to drive the decision of where you're going to allocate your networking time. So you first need to answer that question. Provided that you know the answer to that question of who is your audience, who is your prospect clients, then you need to know where they go. And so once you know that, as an introvert, oftentimes it can take the pressure release valve down a few notches if you serve in a role. So for example, for you to enter a room where you don't know anyone or you know very few people is highly anxious. High anxiety, I should say, and which is understandable. But if you were the person who checked people in or checked their name tags or gathered everyone around when the speaker was going to start talking, in short, if you were to assume an active role, so you could put on the hat of partly as a facilitator, ambassador, and or hostess, then that oftentimes can take the pressure off of not knowing what to say to other people. Because now you have a role, you have a purpose, a job, if you will, at that event, that not only can you be of service, but, it gives you a reason to talk with others that are there for that same event, for the same purpose. It can make it your task of engaging with others much more tenable. A second approach for introverts who are not crazy about networking or professional involvement is to assess your communication skills, say written communication skills, and maybe you become the designated blogger for your firm or your practice area. And you can get involved digitally rather than in real time as the primary venue for your business development activities. There's no end to options to being the writer. There are very few firms that I know of nationally that couldn't use a good writer, Not to say that you would write from anyone else, but oftentimes firms don't even have blogs or vlogs, which is the video recording of a subject matter. And so if you feel comfortable sitting in front of your computer with the green light on, like I am right now, recording some type of content that demonstrates your thought leadership, then that's an excellent way, because then if you have a marketing team, then they can take that file, the video file, the blog file, and upload it, post it to your firm's social media, to your website profile, to your own personal media accounts, LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, which are the primary ones, and then you've never had to leave your desk. But at the very basic level, in order to build a prosperous business, you must find a way to engage in meaningful relationship building. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll never have to go to another networking event ever. It's unlikely. But if you get involved in some type of professional association, whether it be an industry group or a bar association committee, and you break down the number of people who you will be interacting with to a smaller number, and you may know some of those people just by virtue of the fact of your area of practice, that can also be tenable. And then you can serve on a committee, so you will serve some purpose, not just showing up to attend, which will give, hopefully you'll get to know those folks and form relationships, and then that takes off the edge of the relationship building anxiety. So I would encourage you to give that a try. Those are several examples of how introverts can approach rainmaking while being introverted.